Rand from Rand Mock Guitars. This is my video submission for the Great Guitar Build-Off of 2022. If you don't know what that is, it's a charity started by Ben Crow of Crimson Guitars, in which a whole bunch of makers, YouTubers, musicians, and just anyone who wants to join gets to make an instrument that all get raffled off at the end, and all the proceeds go to a good cause. If you want to know more, go to ggbo22.com. That's ggbo22.com, and you can find more information there. This is the first video installment, the plan. So I'm starting off this build with a rough sketch of what it is that I think I'm going to do, and I'm going to base this build off of a prototype of a guitar that I've made before with some significant modifications. The first one being that this is usually a two-piece guitar. It's like, you know, some sort of top, usually maple, a backwood, usually something like sapelli or mahogany, and that's how the kind of sort of build works, with the backwoods kind of sort of peeking out to the front. What I decided to do for this build is to try to do this as a single body guitar, just one piece, with a caveat. And that brings us to the very first significant change, and that's the lower bout. In order to preserve that lower swoop of the design, I did decide to go with two pieces, and this is something I've never done before, but it's getting a different contrasting piece of wood and making that the lower horn. But that means having to have those two pieces match up perfectly. Also in that lower horn is where I plan to put the four-way switch. I know that's a little unorthodox, but I've been fooling around with this idea, I've been experimenting a bit, and I think that it's going to suit this particular guitar very well. That's the very first thing. The second thing you might be noticing is I'm not really fleshing out the fretboard as much. And the reason for that is that I'm not sure if I want to go for a multi-scale or a standard scale. Another thing that you might notice is I'm not really zeroing in on the headstock design, and the reason for that is, again, I haven't decided whether I want to go for the traditional headstock or whether I want to try something a little bit more out there. I've been seeing these headstocks that have like a hollow center, and I'll see if I can find some pictures and include them here. And I find those headstocks visually stunning. I think that they're really, really cool. I'm just not sure of, number one, how to make one, and I'm not really sure if they're stable for tuning, if there's something that I'm kind of sort of really into. I've got about 2 months before I have to start on the neck. It's at least a month and a half, 2 months off. So that gives me time to research the multi-scale, and it gives me time to research the headstock. So I struggled a bit with the theme and eventually landed on something that I think is actually going to be really, really cool, and I think suits this guitar body really well. So as I was thinking of a theme for this guitar, I started to wonder who is it in YouTube that kind of sort of has inspired me a lot, and two people came to mind immediately. One is Thomas Heaton. He's a landscape photographer who's just really amazing. He does these amazing black and whites, really dramatic, but he also has this style that's very surreal, very abstract at the same time, and I find that fascinating. And just the drama of that black and white. I don't want to show too many pictures here, but I'll link to his website down below. It's worth watching his YouTube channel and check out his photos. It's absolutely stunning and inspiring stuff. The second person I thought about is Jono Dry. He's a graphite pencil artist on paper who just does this amazing, hyper-realistic pencil drawings in huge format, right? And his technique is amazing, and his compositions are always really inspiring. So I was thinking about both of these things, and I was thinking of putting together this sort of idea of a guitar, black and white, some type of pencil illustration in graphite, keep it abstract, and see what I can come up with. I'm not an artist, I'm not very good at drawing, but I can probably come up with something. And that suggested to me the woods to use. So let me show you what woods. So the body of the guitar is going to be this beautiful piece of maple that I have. It's not a highly figured maple, it's just a very plain maple. But it's very, very pale, I think it's going to take a white stain very well. And I think that's going to make a really good background for the graphite. I just have to find a way of staining this white and making sure that it can take the pencil lead in the texture that I wanted to take it with. In order to contrast that, what I chose are these two pieces of wenge. Wenge for the neck and wenge for the lower horn. I think I was tempted to kind of sort of just leave the wenge alone as just the entire neck. But the more I thought about it, the more obvious I felt that that was. So I think what I'm going to do is use this piece of curly maple. And that's going to allow me the opportunity to do some inlay in graphite and to continue the illustration into the neck. And I think it'll be a little bit less obvious. You'll have the headstock that's going to be a dark wenge, the back of the neck will be the dark wenge, the lower horn will be, and then everything else will be a matter of the staining and the illustration that I choose to put on top of it. But I think that's the way it's going to go, and it'll be this entire black and white theme with the maple and the wenge, which I think will look really, really good, and all black hardware. So I'd like to thank everybody at the Great Guitar Build-Off for setting this up. I've been wanting to join this for a while now, and it's fun to finally do it. I want to wish everybody luck on their builds. I hope you exceed your expectations. You guys always have some amazing ideas. I'm looking forward to catching your videos. Good luck, everybody.